Yes, I'm going to talk about branding and the impact of Web 2.0 and social media on branding. And I'm going to focus on destinations because that's a very popular subject now, not only in the whole world, but also here. And I'm happy to see Wim in the front row. So we're going to talk about destinations. And by now I should see the next slide. Yeah. What are destinations? Destinations are cities and regions, countries, but also events like Pink Pop or the North Sea Jazz Festival, places where people go or are directed to. And all those destinations want to do promotion, they want to attract visitors, and they spend a lot of money trying to attract those visitors. There's a big problem with that because we get 3,500 messages per day, commercial messages, and we're fed up with advertising. We don't trust brochures anymore, we don't trust marketeers, and we don't trust advertisers. So what destinations do, they look at branding. But what's branding? A logo or a slogan isn't a brand. Advertising, marketing or PR isn't branding. Branding is trying to create and maintain a message which is never heard before, which distinguishes you from all the other destinations. And a very good example, what I think is a very good example of effective branding happened in Amsterdam. A successful brand, I Amsterdam, okay, it's a logo, but what you see there is that the whole city of Amsterdam lives the brand. So it's part of the policy of the city of Amsterdam. This is an example of a city which has a strong brand, and the next example will be a country, Australia. This is the #1 destination brand in the world. It's the #1 destination where people want to go to if they have the money, for most of us here. And this is one of their best campaigns they had, so where the bloody hell are you? Real typical Australian. They got 4 million links on Google just referring to this slogan. And where do those links come from? They come from us, because we're in all our social media, on our websites and in blogs talking about Australia, linking to Australia. Well, here you see all the examples, and I guess most of you have been already on most of them in the past few years. So what's happening? In fact, branding has become a two-way street. It used to be one-way communication, a brand telling what the brand was, the brand identity, but people are talking back. People are talking with each other about destinations, and it's now possible to build brands bottom up. Next slide is TripAdvisor. I think this is the best example of a Web 2.0 website. Everybody knows it again. People can generate their own content, upload photos, give comments and ratings. But what I like very much about TripAdvisor is the fact that you as a brand can join the conversation. I stayed in this hotel in New York, and the complete personnel of this hotel, so the general manager and the front desk managers, reads the internet, scans the internet every day for bad comments and reacts on those bad comments. And this is a way to steer the conversation about your brand in the right direction. So that's what I call branding 2.0. So Web 2.0 isn't technology, it's not a widget or a RSS feed or a blog, it's a way of thinking, it's peer-to-peer communication, it's co-design, it's much more than that, it's a state of mind. And what you see happening right now is that the user is becoming very dominant in the whole branding process. Communities dominate brands, not the brands themselves. It are the users who determine what your brand is today. And because of that, it is possible to build your brand up, bottom up instead of top down. An example of that is Stormhoek, which is a South African wine house. They use social media and to position their brand. Their marketing budget is zero or near to zero, and they sold 50,000 cases per year a few years ago. They now sell 1 million cases per year just using social media and blogging on a website. It doesn't mean that slogans aren't important. If you look at this slogan, Las Vegas, what happens here stays here. This is regarded as one of the best slogans ever. Very important, because if you use a slogan like this, you immediately see an effect on internet. Also Las Vegas, with this slogan, has more than 3 million links on the internet. You see this slogan everywhere, in books, on sites like YouTube, Flickr. Everybody is using this slogan to name their product, their photos and their videos. And there was even a movie with Cameron Diaz which used this slogan. Absolute wonderful example of good sloganing. Then an example of the Netherlands. The Dutch Tourist Board invited in 2006 bloggers from the US over to Amsterdam. They gave them a free airline ticket and a stay in a hotel. The only thing they had to do, the bloggers, is put an advertisement on their website. They didn't have to write favorably about Amsterdam. Of course, they all did. They interviewed all those bloggers, and based on those interviews, they built a new Web 2.0 site for Holland.com, focusing on the American market, and this website is still running today. So this is also a good example of how you can join the conversation on the web with people who are determining your brand. This is an example of a very bad brand message. It's a city we all know, and you can get a beer. The first who knows which city this is can get a beer later. But you see that they're using commonplace words, very normal words. It doesn't distinguish yourself from other destinations. If you use this on the internet, you will disappear in Google. And that brings me to the one of the final slides. If you have a bad brand, if you don't have a message, well, you can use Web 2.0 or social media, but it doesn't matter. And then I come to the last slide, something to think about. What do you think about this slogan? This was actually used in Canada, in fact, the city of Victoria, for a campaign, a branding campaign. And my question to you is, if you think that if branding has something to do with delivering a promise again and again, how would you look at a slogan like this? Thank you. This was my presentation. Thank you.
Leuk, dank je.